The 667th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code MMA SGPN to get a 50% deposit bonus of up to $1,000. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing college football and the NFL with Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Heidi ho, degenerinos. Welcome to episode 667 of the MMA Gambling Podcast, the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, dedicated to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, the Cowboy Gentleman Taco Fox. Happy birthday to me. Yes, a special episode today. You're all invited to my birthday bash. And actually, the UFC is actually giving me a present on my birthday. They aren't giving me a Apex fight card with a bunch of middleweights at the top of it. No, they're giving me a actually good pay-per-view. This is a pretty solid pay-per-view that the good people in Salt Lake City are getting this weekend. So today is all about the prelim portion, which is pretty solid as well. Don't tell Stephen Thompson that it's okay to be on the prelims, but yeah, prelims are pretty good. As I mentioned, Stephen Thompson is on it, and a bunch of other people that we're going to break down. So today is all about the prelims. Tomorrow, all about the main card. Friday, all about Contender Series. So a couple weeks of that left. So let's get down to it. Bring in my co-host. He's about 1.5 times younger than me at this point. In our lives, is Daniel Gumby-Vreeland. Hello.
So fun fact about this, you get the UFC 307 card, which like you said, is pretty stacked. And you'll remember, I actually won up to you there. I got Sergey Spivak versus Marcin Tybura 2.
Yeah, you
right
can't top that.
birthday. You can't top an Apex card featuring a heavyweight rematch that nobody asked for.
It's true. And the wrong person won as well.
Yeah. It's just, but that does set up the trilogy though. So, I mean,
yes, it's true.
I mean, we're all on pins and needles waiting for that third fight. So,
yep. No,
maybe my next birthday.
Maybe if we're so lucky. If Gummy can last another year, maybe we'll get it. No sloppy heavyweights on this fight card, sadly. But just wait till
you got two on Contender Series.
Are they sloppy fatties, or are they just big guys? Young guy looks like he may not be.
I mean, I think 3 of them maybe aren't. Which is maybe that's probably disappointing. I would say 3 of them aren't sloppy fatties. In the one of them is.
Their records they have some sloppy fatty records, like 3-1 and it's
2-1,
2-1. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that next week. So we'll actually no, not next week, Friday. We'll talk about Contender Series on Friday. We got to talk about the real show this week in UFC 307. Bahia versus Roundtree. Thoughts on how many fights are we doing today? 7 fights. Thoughts on the 7-fight prelims, Gumby?
I mean, you can't complain about a fight card that has 7 prelims and you're getting a former champ, a former title challenger, somebody who is nipping at the heels of a title shot multiple times. People
Ovince
I like from
Preux.
People I like from Contender Series. Yeah, of course, Ovince.
He was an interim title challenger.
I was a guest on a podcast this week, and they asked what my most excited fight was to watch on this whole card, and I said Ovince Preux versus Ryan Spann because of just purely how ridiculous it'll be to watch it.
It got stolen from us the first time, so we can't wait to see it again. What podcast were you on, Gumby? You never plug yourself.
On so I was a guest. I'm often a guest on the Just Win Network, which is run by Just Win MMA, which is run by Britton Hess, who's a guy who does some shows here for the SGPN too. So a little crossover love there with us in the MMA world.
Awesome. That's fine. There's plenty of Gumby to go around. He's young still. He can handle all these multiple podcasts. So we just got to keep him alive until we get that trilogy fight. And then after that, doesn't matter. Out to pasture.
I can die happy after I've seen those 2 sloppy fatties fight twice.
All right. Let's jump into this here. This is your card. First, important message. Hurricane Helene has been devastating to the people of Western North Carolina. SGPN is teaming up with the local charity mountainprojects.org to help give back. The biggest donation will get a guest spot on the college football. That's football. Yes. The college football picks show and a ton of gear. Go to mountainprojects.org and hit flood support. Help out today. Thank you. And while we're talking about SGPN, do you know that we have the most degen pregame shows in the world, which is really big. It's a big place. Saturday, the College Experience YouTube is live, start at 11 a.m. Eastern. For the NFL, the Propcast kicks off at 11 a.m. Sunday, followed by SGP at noon Eastern time. Last second bets, the gem parlays, your calls, and more. Check it all out. SGPN, YouTube, obviously, wherever you catch your podcasts, all that jazz. You know the routine. All right. And of course, while we're at it, our YouTube, make sure you smash subscribe. So thank you. The numbers, even without us saying it, numbers are still going up, dummy. So we're good.
It's almost like we were wrong about that.
It's true. Your theory, I think, had some holes in it. But anyhow, let's jump into it. We got some oldies, maybe not old fatties, but oldies fighting in the first fight on Saturday. So this, of course, is UFC 307 Pereira versus Roundtree, Salt Lake City, Utah. The Delta Center is getting the event October the 5th, Saturday, as per usual. 6 p.m. is the start of the early prelims that we're going to kick off today. Main prelims 8, pay-per-view 10. You know the routine. 12 fights. Start with the early prelim fight. Tim Means versus Court McGee. Yes, sirree. They both are rhymed, and they also are both in the UFC. That rhymes too. My God, I should do a whole episode rhyming and see how long it takes Gumby to realize I'm rhyming everything.
I'm not gonna enjoy that.
A lot of prep. I don't think I could do that. Anyhow, too much work. Welterweights. Tim Means, Court McGee. We'll tell you about the underdog first, as per usual. It'll be the Crusher, Court McGee. We got some good nicknames, solid nicknames on this year fight card, and they're kicking it off. A couple of solid nicknames in this fight. The Crusher is 21-13, 5 knockouts, 5 submissions. He's been knocked out 3 times, 10-12 in the UFC. He's lost 3 straight. Before that, he won 2 straight. He's not won since January 2022. 3-1 in the Ultimate Fighter and the champion of his season. He's fight at middleweight, 2007 Pro MMA debut. He's pretty good striking. You think of him more of a, I guess a lot of these could be ground strikes, more of a grappler. He's got a positive strike differential of 0.98, so he almost outstrikes his opponents by almost a punch a minute. Better grappling stats than Means, plus 165. The Dirty Bird, Tim Means, 33-16-1 with 1 no contest, 20 knockouts, 5 submissions. Been knocked out 3 times, submitted 7 times, 15-13 with 1 no contest in the UFC over 2 stints, 1-4 over his last 5, including getting knocked out, TKO'd in his last fight. Used to fight at lightweight, middleweight, light heavyweight. Multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Right, get the shirt, sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. Get sticky with it. 50-pound difference in weight classes for Tim Means. Anyhow, 2004 Pro MMA debut, 2-1 in boxing, 3 inches taller than McGee, more active landing strikes than McGee, and he has a better strike differential than McGee. He's at plus 1.44 strikes per minute, minus 195. And as per usual, since I am the cowboy gentleman, Gumby gets to go first.
I'm gonna go dog at the gate. I'm gonna go with the Crusher.
I was hoping you could sell me on it.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Like, he's lost 3 in a row. 2 of them absolutely vicious knockouts at the hands of, what was it, Matt Brown, and I remember one being Matt Brown. Jeremiah Wells.
Yeah, that's all right. That's a bit better than Matt Brown.
That's a bit better than Matt Brown, but it was like cumulative, right? And then we were worried it was just kind of going to pile up. And he fought Alex Morano, and I actually interviewed him right before that Morano fight, and he said he had gotten a couple of his spine fused in a spot and a couple of the plates done over, and all of a sudden he doesn't have neck pain and feels like he can train wrestling for the first time. And if you watch the fight with Alex Morano, he looks super tentative, like he's not sure his neck's going to hold up for the first round. And then he kind of lets go and he looks like he's back in shape. And granted, it wasn't enough to beat Alex Morano, but you like almost wonder if he got that momentum going early. And I think if he just changes that game plan here with Tim Means, first of all, that's a huge advantage. And then second of all, I think he doesn't give Tim Means the type of fight Tim Means needs, right? Because Tim Means, he wants people to just stand in the pocket and trade with him, right? Like he wants us to be dirty. He wants us to be ugly, but not in the dirty, ugly way that Court McGee makes fights. Court McGee holds you up against the cage there until you're like bored out of your brains. And then he takes you down and then he makes you bored there. And like, you know, he's got his own way of beating you up and giving you ground and pound and stuff. But like, I just see the fight that he put on Ramiz Brahimaj, and I don't see any reason why he can't do that to a 39-year-old Tim Means at this stage, you know, and yeah, you know, the losing streak is clearly why he's an underdog here, but I do think that wrestling's just good enough to hold the day. So I'm going to go underdog at the gate. I'll take Court McGee.
He's 40, by the way, now, so even worse.
Is McGee 39? I remember one was 39.
Yeah,
and
I think they were born the same year, but I don't think Court may not have turned it yet. We're gonna have to check it now. This is how we get sidetracked, but we need to know he's 39. December 12th is his birthday. Yeah, I'll go. I am when I picture the fight, I do picture Tim Means just like piecing him up from distance, but I don't want to pay 2 times money for Tim Means. I think McGee, as Gumby said, can make this a dirty fight. Dirty Bird doesn't want to get in a dirty fight. He wants to be able to stand on the feet and trade with you and then pick the guy off. He's coming off being TKO'd. Not good when you're almost 40, or he is 40 now at this point. And McGee, like Gumby said, looked okay. He lost the last fight, but he looked more like his old self there. Battle of 2 old guys. I'll take the underdog here, and clear path to victory would be grappling. So hopefully he makes this ugly and a boring fight, and we hit some plus money to get things going out of the gate. So boom. All right, here's the fight Gumby was anxiously waiting. We already broke it down, I guess, months ago. We're going to break it down again because this fight deserves our attention twice. Ovince St. Preux, Ryan Spann. This is a light heavyweight fight, 3 5-minute rounds. Hopefully we get all 15 minutes. St. Preux from Haiti. The other gentleman, Mr. Spann, from the United States of America, and I'm going to tell you about the Haitian first. OSP. Ovince St. Preux, 27-17, 12 knockouts, 8 submissions. He's been knocked out 5 times, submitted 3 times. 15-12 in the UFC. Win over his last 3, 2-3 over his last 5. He's fought at heavyweight, has missed weight before at light heavyweight. Failed 2 drug tests before, if that matters. Probably doesn't at this point, but hey, 6-1 in Strikeforce. I don't even remember him in Strikeforce. That's the thing. I think I probably said this before, but do you remember him in Strikeforce? Of course.
I do. Yeah, I do. Because when he came over, everybody thought he was going to be like a big deal and like a big piece of the division. And I guess he kind of was. He kind of was, right?
He fought for an interim title against John Jones. So there you go. What else? 2008 Pro MMA debut. An inch of reach over Spann. Better striking stats than Spann. However, he's been outstruck in his UFC career by his opponents by 0.29 strikes per minute, plus 225. Numbers gone down a bit though. Spann's less of a favorite than he was yesterday when he did check these odds out. Superman Spam. No one's taken that nickname away from him yet. 21-10, 6 knockouts, 12 submissions. He's been knocked out 4 times, submitted 3 times, almost exactly the same as St. Preux. 7-5 in the UFC. He has lost 3 straight. He was looking like a world beater for a bit there. Now lost 3 straight and gone 2-4 over his last 6. So he was 5-1 at one point in the UFC. Got TKO in his last fight. Is not won since November 2022. Missed weight before at 205 as well. 1-1 in Contender Series. Multi championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get the shirt. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Get sticky with it. Used to fight at middleweight. 2013 Pro MMA debut. 2 inches height. 8 years younger than St. Preux. More active landing strikes than St. Preux. He has been outstruck in the UFC by 0.64 strikes per minute. Minus 250. This is kind of like the Spider-Man meme fight, as I said before. So one guy's way younger, and I think has more left in him. St. Preux just has looked horrible. He's been winning fights. He looked horrible winning the fight. His last fight.
Been winning fight. Yeah,
he won his last fight, and that was the one. That was the one he looked horrible in, right? Well, he's won 2 of his last 3, so he kind of, which is more than you would expect at this point. Yeah, he looked really horrible his last fight. I hope Spann is just. I think he's one of the ultimate underachievers in the UFC. He really should be better than he is. I think he's, pretty solid all around. It looks like a pretty decent athlete, good size, well coached, but just hasn't clicked for him, at least not recently. But I think he can beat an old Ovince St. Preux here. So give me Spann.
Yeah, and the big thing for me in this one too is that like Ryan Spann, when he loses fights, it's usually because he made some colossal mistake and gets cracked or submitted, right? Like you can go back and look at his losses. That's basically what happens. It's like he does tend to get sloppy from time to time. He also does a really good job of taking advantage of when others get sloppy. So it's basically just like if he fights somebody sloppy enough, it's basically just like who's going to catch the other one first. And in this fight, I actually don't worry about Ovince St. Preux catching him, because even in the fights Ovince St. Preux is winning, it's like, I mean, he just outlasted Kennedy and Nzechukwu. Like he just took punches and waited until he got tired and then just landed slightly more. It wasn't like Kennedy wasn't in danger of doing anything except for like falling down from exhaustion because he fought Homer Simpson. Like that's pretty much it. So I don't see that as a path to victory here for St. Preux against Spann, so I think Spann probably finds the time to catch him here.
St. Preux hasn't knocked anyone out in 4 years.
Yeah.
Alonzo Menefield 4 years ago, he knocked him out. And he looked like a robot running out of batteries in his last fight. Yet he won.
Well, he was running out of batteries at a much more decreased rate than his opponent.
It's true.
So.
It's true. It was ugly. We are both in on OSP in this fight. So not OSP. Oh my God. What have I said? We're both in on Ryan Spann on this fight. But yeah, hopefully he stops underachieving and gets the job done for us. I think I should tell you about, as soon as my phone boots back up, I should probably tell you about what's coming up. Oh, it's on the screen already. Underdog Fantasy. I should have these ad reads memorized by now. It comes from the heart as it is, but I better make sure I don't miss anything, right? Here's my Google Doc right here. This is live radio, ladies and gentlemen, except we're not live. Gumby could edit all this out. He won't. This is me. It's me struggling.
You got to face it.
Anytime he butchers the opening, he makes sure we redo it. Let me tell you that. All right, Underdog. Underdog Pick'em has one of the biggest menus for all sports. NFL, college football, MLB, MMA, that's us, WNBA, NASCAR, and more. Their lobby is jam-packed with profit, a boost. You can now use specials a boost on all flex entries. Gumby's going to give you a pick. It's not going to be Atlanta Braves pick because he is poo-pooing the Atlanta Braves. They're not going to be playing tomorrow.
Yeah, by the time you're listening to this, they might not even be in the playoffs anymore. So instead, we'll go with, Underdog Fantasy has got those first touchdown projections now. Yep. So on Thursday Night Football, you're going to see the Bucks and the Falcons. I think most of the Falcons guys will probably have the juiciest projections, but I'm going to go with Chris Godwin, higher than half a first touchdown.
I think I'm going to pick the Falcons on this spread. Do you think that's an okay pick for my best bet tonight?
Yeah, I think that's all right for your best bet.
It seems to be what the whole SGPN team seems to be in on that pick as well. So, okay, good. Just wanted to check that. But yeah, what's the underdog pick once again?
Chris Godwin, higher than half a touchdown.
Maybe I'll steal that too. You never know. All right. Sign up with a promo code MMASGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code MMASGPN. Is he one of the Goblin brothers? Do you remember those guys?
I don't know.
WWE, they were like cowboy type guys. I guess it was before your time.
I think that was probably like when I was born.
Maybe, probably, yeah. 1.5 times. I'm not quite 1.5 times your age, but close enough, which is depressing. All right. This would cheer me up. A mom fight, Gumby. What's better than a mom fight, right?
That's right.
Carla Esparza, and what she says is it's a return fight. Definitely. That's a fact. She claims it's her retirement fight as well. She's a brand new mom. Tecia Pennington. We have 2 Penningtons on a fight card for the first time ever. She is a mother as well, with the lady who is in the co-main event. We'll tell you about the new mom, Cookie Monster, Carla Esparza, 19-7, 4 knockouts, 4 submissions. She's been knocked out twice, submitted twice, 10-5 in the UFC. She's a 2-time former champion, 6-1 over her last 7, but she did get submitted in her last fight. That was before she had mom strength, though. That was back in November 2022. She's not won since May 2022. 3-0 on the Ultimate Fighter and the champion. 3-0 in Invicta and the champion. 0-2 in Bellator. That proves Bellator is better than UFC, is better than Invicta, and is better than the Ultimate Fighter. I think that's MMA math. That's how it works. 2010 Pro MMA debut. Silver medalist in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. 3 inches of reach over Pennington. Better grappling stats than Pennington. That's not surprising, though. She has been outstruck in the UFC by 0.53 strikes per minute, plus 150. The Tiny Tornado. They still have her listed as Double T as her nickname, but she's no longer Double T. She's TP. So her nickname could be toilet paper now. 14-6, 1 knockout, 1 submission. She's a finisher. She's never been finished herself, so she owes us a finish. 9-7 in the UFC. She's lost 2 straight. Before that, she won 3 straight. Has not won since August 2021. So she hasn't won since becoming a mother, I think. Also,
she's only been back for 1 fight, I believe.
Right. Yeah. 1-2 in the Ultimate Fighter. 4-0 in Invicta. 2012 Pro MMA debut. 2 years younger than Esparza. Better striking stats. Twice more active landing strikes than Esparza. And she has outstruck her opponents in the UFC by 1.19 strikes per minute. Minus 170.
I'm going Tecia Pennington here. So I wavered on this at first because I was thinking about Carla Esparza. I think I was thinking of like good Carla Esparza.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not that she might not be that. I mean, she didn't look great against Weili Zhang, but like she didn't look awful against Weili Zhang. But like then I remembered it's been 2 years. She's had a kid. She's fighting at elevation, and it's a retirement fight. I mean, like with all 4 of those things, you like have to fade her, right? Like
Yeah.
You know, we love fading people with one foot out the door. They notoriously fight poorly in those fights. You know, she's going to elevation when she hasn't fought in 2 years. Like, that's a big red flag. And then, you know, we've regularly noted that when fighters come back from having a kid, the first fight back is usually not 100%. You know, no matter what kind of training camp they put together. You know, we saw it with Mackenzie Dern. We saw it with who is the other one? Oh, Nina Nunes. We saw it a little bit with Tecia Pennington, right? Like, she looked not as good as she had in the past against Tabitha Ricci, although I think she won that fight, to be honest. I know she didn't get the decision, but I picked Tabitha Ricci and remember thinking I got lucky. So we can imagine Tecia is going to be better in this fight than she was in that one. We can imagine Esparza is going to look worse. We can imagine, you know, the difference in the training, the difference in the layoffs, the difference in, I mean, everything. I just think everything points to Tecia Pennington stuffing a couple of takedowns here and being so much faster and crisper on the feet.
Yeah, I was going to pick Esparza, but as you laid it out, too many things against her here. And like you, I'm picturing these two fighting at their peak of their powers, and you know they're both not there, but especially you really don't know what you're going to get from Esparza at this point. So give us Tiny Tornado, whatever, Double T, TP, whatever you want to call it, Tecia Pennington for the win. All right, we're on to the main prelims now, 8 p.m. Eastern Start Time. And we start kicking things off with a lightweight fight. Alexander Hernandez, Austin Hubbard, AHs all around here. 3 5-minute rounds. We're going to tell you about AH first. Austin Hubbard, Thud. One of my favorite nicknames. 16-7. It's Thud in quotation marks too, I've seen, which is even better.
Isn't it always in all the nicknames?
Oh, that's true. No, I thought I saw somewhere. It stood out wherever I saw it, but it was like noise it made. I'm imagining it being the noise. Anyhow, Thud, 16-7, 5 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been submitted 3 times, 4 and 5 in the UFC over 2 stints. However, he's 3-1 over his last 4, including winning his last fight, 2-0 in the Ultimate Fighter. Multiple region chapters on his
mantle.
Correct. Get the shirt, sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. Get sticky with it. He's fight at welterweight, an inch height over Hernandez, better striking stats, better grappling stats. And he has outstruck his UFC opponents by 0.37 strikes per minute, plus 144. The Great Ape. That nickname annoys me for some reason. You too?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, we talked about it before.
It was really boring when it was the Great, when it was Alexander the Great Hernandez. It was boring, but like
now it
wasn't forced. Yeah, it was. This is like when Rory McDonald became the Red King.
The Red King and Aries. Was he? Oh, was there? Yeah, Aries. Yeah.
You remember what the OG Rory McDonald nickname was, right?
Like I had to remember it now. It was something about some kind of young. It wasn't a young type nickname.
Nah, it was the Water Boy.
Oh yeah, right. Yes. He didn't like that. Well, you don't get to pick your nickname. Sorry, people. Anyhow, the Great Ape, thumbs down. He's 14-8, 6 knockouts, 2 submissions. Been knocked out 3 times, submitted once. Taking this fight on short notice. Alarm bells going off, and he's up a weight class. He usually fights at featherweight. Missed weight his last fight at featherweight. Now he's up at lightweight. Not sure if he's just up because of short notice, or I'm sure he'll want to go back down because that's the way fighters seem to be wired. But 67 in the UFC, regional champion, 2012 Pro MMA debut. He's lost 2 straight and only won 1 of his last 5. An inch of reach over Hubbard. More active landing strikes than Hubbard. He's been outstruck in the UFC by 0.33 strikes per minute, minus 166. He's another guy like Spann who seems to have underachieved in the UFC. Give me the dog here. I have more faith in Austin Hubbard at this point, especially Hernandez coming up a weight class on short notice, on a skid. I think Hubbard's has the motor and the all-around game too, and the grittiness to beat the Great Ape. It's not just because the nickname is superior. I think Hubbard's worth a sprinkle on the dog money here.
So I really wanted to take Austin.
You're not agreeing, really? Huh.
I really wanted to take Austin Hubbard here. However, I have a little inside piece of information here that like led me away from Austin Hubbard.
This is unfair. Insider trading. You should have told me in advance.
So Austin Hubbard isn't training at Elevation anymore. He no longer trains.
You mean?
He no longer trains at the team Elevation, nor does he train at Elevation.
Or small E Elevation. Okay.
Or small E Elevation. He trains in Illinois now, which to my knowledge has very little elevation across the whole state. Yeah. The problem is is Hubbard is training at Valley Flow Systems, which is not a bad gym by any stretch of the imagination, but it's his first time with a new camp. It's going away from training at elevation right before you have to fight at elevation. And, you know, I'll be honest, I talked to him. He seems like he's very happy with the gym, but also like he was non-committal that it was a permanent move, and kind of made the point that it was like a move so that he could be closer to his newborn baby, which is great. Like I respect that as a choice, and I hope the gym move works out for him. But he like left the door open to be like, maybe team elevation is the right place for me to be training. And like, to me, all of those are alarms, you know, and I'm pulling for him. I interviewed him this week. I like him a lot. But like, when you say, you know, maybe I'll go back to that other gym I really liked, it was at elevation, this one's not, you know, you don't seem really committed to all of that new, like, I have to go with the other guy. And I think Hernandez is a little bit faster. And if he pushes that pace against the guy not training at elevation that's used to, I think that could be a problem. So I'm going to go with Alexander Hernandez here as a slight favorite.
Alexander Hernandez at elevation on short notice, up a weight class. There you go. There's my counter. But
but Hernandez has fought at 55 for a while, and he also used to like kill himself.
For a while. His last fight was featherweight.
Yeah, but like he kills himself to make featherweight. He looks like crap at featherweight. Like this is the right weight class for him at the end of the day.
Okay. Sounds good. Insider, do you have anything else you need to come clean on and let me know before we move forward with this?
I don't ever need to let you know anything.
I need to let all of you know about something. It's Rhythm. SGPN's proud partner, Rhythm, is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom, predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and props. Build your model, copy one of the top-performing models from the leaderboard, or press Build a Model for Me. It really gives you predictions for every game and player prop, and also has a myriad of stats, research, and trend analysis to give you even more betting insights. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RTHMM. And we're also brought to you by BetUS. Bet with the best in the business, BetUS. BetUS has been around for more than 30 years. Easily deposit using cryptocurrency and get lightning fast payouts. US players are always welcome. Check out the MMA and UFC bets on there and use our link to sign up and get 125% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Promo code SGPN. So you know we sent you. BetUS, America's favorite sports book. All right. I feel betrayed, but we're going to move on. I'm going to win that bet anyway. I could have swore you would take Austin Hubbard. I thought he was. I
do like the guy. I just like those are things that worry me.
Yep. You worry too much. All right, let's go up to middleweights. Ihor Potieria from the Ukraine, César Almeida from Brazil. 3 5-minute rounds. I'm thinking it's Gumby. I don't think you've interviewed all of these people, so hopefully Gumby he's not hiding cards on me again. The duelist, just duelist for Potieria, which makes it even better. He's 21-6, 9 knockouts, 7 submissions. He's been knocked out 4 times, submitted once. 2-4 in the UFC, 1-3 over his last 4, 2-4 over his last 6. Lost his last fight via submission, has missed weight before at 185. Regional champion, used to fight at 205 and 265. That would be heavyweight. 2 inch height, an inch of reach over Almeida, 8 years younger. Most people are younger than Almeida, though, really. He's more active landing strikes and better grappling stats than Almeida. He's barely outstruck his UFC opponents. He's at plus 0.09. And on the betting board, plus 320. Almeida, Cecina, Little Caesar. I know my Portuguese now, thanks to Gumby. 5-1. With 4 knockouts, never been finished in a fight. 1-1 in the UFC, lost his last fight. 1-0 in Dana White Contender Series. He was a kickboxing champion in a previous life. He has outstruck his UFC and Contender Series opponents by 2.37 strikes per minute, and he's at minus 360.
I'm gonna go César Almeida. I think Potieria. I was asked before, do you think Ihor Potieria has any shred of grappling? And if you go back in his record, he heel hooked a guy 8 years ago. That's not enough for me to think he can deal with Almeida here. I think he's, I think we've seen some pretty low IQ fight stuff out of Ihor Potieria, particularly, boxing with guys he shouldn't box with, grappling with guys he shouldn't grapple with. And yeah, he's picked up a couple of wins that have kind of surprised us. And he looked really good in that last one, but I have to imagine he's going to have to strike with Almeida here. And we've seen how good Almeida can be on the feet. He's got 2 maybe wins over people we don't really care about, right? Lucas Fernando and Dylan Budka, who, that ultimately.
How could you not care about Dylan Budka? How dare you?
But he has a split loss to Roman Kopylov. So we're talking about this guy being in the ballpark of a Roman Kopylov. And so, like, if he's in the ballpark of Roman Kopylov, he's head and shoulders above Ihor Potieria, in my opinion, right? Like, Kopylov's much better than that. And really, Kopylov won a lot of that fight by taking him down a bunch of times. So give me César Almeida. I think he hits Potieria way too much, and he hits pretty darn hard. So that's my play on this one.
I second that emotion. Yeah, César Almeida is the pick. This seems to be a pretty good matchup for him. They seem to like former kickboxers, so they're giving him a good matchup. Not someone who's going to grapple him, someone who is probably going to stand there and probably get his head knocked off. You think? You think we may?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Let's wait till tomorrow, see if it makes it into our prop. So yeah, we're both in on Almeida here. All right, to the second from the top of the prelims, Marina Rodriguez. Oh, how far she has fallen. Iasmin Lucindo, both from Brazil, 3 5-minute rounds, strawweight. Rodriguez, 17-4-2. I remember when she had 0 in that middle number there. 7 knockouts, 1 submission. She's been knocked out once. 7-4-2 in the UFC. 1-3 over her last 4. Did lose her last fight as well. I guess I remember when she had 1. She used to be something 1-1 or something like that. Anyhow, let's move on. You used to fight a flyweight. 1-0 contender series. Who she beat at contender series? There's a good trivia question. I don't know.
It was Brazilian contender series, and I want to say the person wound up back in the UFC.
Really?
Yeah, she beat somebody decent. Is it Spider Girl? Remember the Brazilian girl, Spider Girl?
There's a Spider Girl. Let me see. I'm going to look up.
I really hope I got.
Oh my God, he does know this. Maria Oliveira.
Yeah, Maria Spider Girl Oliveira.
Yeah. Wow. Gumby knows. Yeah. Usually I can get you if it's someone lost to someone, but yeah, you got the win too. All right. 3 inches taller than Lucindo, more active landing strikes, has outstruck her opponents in the UFC by 1.7 strikes per minute. Plus 160. Iasmin Lucindo, 16-5, 8 knockouts, 3 submissions. She's been submitted 3 times. 3-1 in the UFC. She's won 3 straight and 10 of 11. Has not lost since August 2022. She was regional champ. Do you know where she was champ, Gumby? Not just any regional promotion.
Is it Samurai Fight House?
Yeah, SFH, baby.
I didn't realize Lucindo was Samurai Fight House.
Yeah, I know. That's surprising, right?
That rules.
I know it does. He used to fight at flyweight, an inch of reach over Rodriguez, 15 years younger. Is that the biggest gap we've seen? I don't think we haven't seen
in a while. We had some 50. That were before that were bigger, but that's the longest in a while. Yeah.
We haven't had 20 ever, right? I think it's always been like maybe high teens.
So. Yeah, probably hit teens.
That's pretty big. She has outstruck her opponents in the UFC by 0.84 strikes per minute. Better grappling stats than Rodriguez, minus 177. I'm obviously going to take the younger fighter, dangerous fighter who's on a streak. Really liked Marina Rodriguez until the wheels fell off, and they seem to have fallen off hard for her. So, Lucindo's the pick here.
Yeah, and I think the thing that's fallen off the most for me and why I'm not on Marina Rodriguez anymore is she's always been a really good striker, right? Like that's always been her thing. She's able to pick you apart from distance, and it's good footwork that keeps her away from being taken down. But lately, she's been walking into takedowns at a much higher rate in her last 3 or 4 fights. Her takedown defense seems to have slipped, and I think it's because she's being overly aggressive with the hands. Then once she's been taken down a couple of times, she almost looks a little gun shy. And I think against Iasmin Lucindo is just the type of fighter who knows to put that fear in Rodriguez early, to put her on her heels, take her down one time, let her know that this is a possibility, and then just keep Rodriguez from letting go too much. Then I think you're going to see Lucindo, especially after she hits one of those takedowns, really start to add up. That's kind of what she does. She starts to pile on the strikes and get things going. So yeah, I think Iasmin Lucindo, you're going to see one early takedown, and then the volume's going to favor her at the end of the day. So yeah, I like her in this fight too.
Yep, we are agreeing on that. All right, to the main event of the prelims. Just tell Stephen Thompson that he's on the main event. This is the most you'll ever hear this man complain about something, right? He doesn't like being on the prelims. That's about as rude as Stephen Thompson gets. But you really can't argue with him being on the prelims. What fight are you going to bump off the main card and put Stephen Thompson in over? I don't think there's any, really, right? This is a solid fight.
Oh, the middleweight fight that kicks off the main card.
Okay.
Could be flip-flop, but this is a nice appetizer to the main card.
It sure is. It would be a welterweight fight, and of course, as you probably guessed, Stephen Thompson's in it. Stephen Thompson versus Joaquin Buckley, 3 5-minute rounds if they need it. 170. We'll tell you about Thompson. Not only is he on the prelims, he's an underdog on the prelims. Ouch. All right. Wonder Boy is a nickname naturally. 17-7-1, 8 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been knocked out once, submitted once. So he hasn't hit that part of his career where he's getting knocked out nonstop. So that's a positive. 12-7-1 in the UFC, 1-3 over his last 4. Got submitted in his last fight. 2010 pro MMA debut, a kickboxing champion. Famously, he was what, 1,028-0 or something like that
correct,
in kickboxing.
Yeah. A billion in 2. Yes,
1 billion and 2 in infinity with no knockout, no losses. 2 inches taller than Buckley. Has outstruck his UFC opponents for 1.08 strikes per minute, plus 185. New Mansa. Mansa, that's like king, right? We've talked about this before, I think, isn't it? New king or something?
I don't know.
You act like you don't care about nicknames anymore. That used to be your thing. Have you grown out of that?
I didn't grow out of it, but we've talked about New Mansa enough, and I feel like I don't ever have the answer.
But yeah, it's true.
I need a new Ansa, not a new Mansa.
Oh, look at this guy. Too bad we already have a title for the episode. Too bad, but that's a good one. That's a good backup in case of emergency. All right, Mr. Buckley, 18-6, 13 knockouts. He's been knocked out 4 times. 9-4 in the UFC. He's won 4 straight. Before that, he lost 2 straight. Used to fight at middleweight, 3-2 in Bellator. 2014 pro MMA debut. An inch of reach. 11 years younger than Thompson, so back-to-back fights with huge age gaps in them. He's more active landing strikes than Thompson. Better grappling stats than Thompson, and he has outstruck his opponents pretty much the same rate as Thompson has. 1.13 strikes per minute. Minus 200.
I'm going Buckley. I really want to pick Wonder Boy at this stage, but the problem is that Buckley, especially at 170, has like kind of sneaky wrestling. He's kind of disappointed us a couple of times by actually using it. I think people want this to be a kickboxing brawl. You know, I think people want this to be a fun technical kickboxing fight where somebody gets knocked out.
Yeah.
Have
you watched Stephen Thompson recently, people?
I think when it's on the feet, first of all, it's going to be boring. I think it's going to be overly technical and not really aggressive. And then when that happens and Buckley needs to win the round, I think he's going to grind out the last 2 minutes. And will it be pretty? I don't think so, but I do think Buckley, first of all, he's probably still got the speed advantage on Thompson now that Thompson is kind of aging.
You would hope so at this point.
And like Buckley's quick. Like, let's give him credit where credit is due. Like he wouldn't have hit that kick on Ipa Kasangane if he wasn't, wicked fast and explosive. So he's still got that, like, of course, I don't know if he's going to be the more technical kickboxer, but, sort of like I said with the Iasmin Lucindo, like if that threat of the takedown is in there, like, especially with Wonder Boy having lost so many times in a row with those takedowns, like, I think you got to be worried about it. So I'm going to take Buckley here.
Yeah, I agree. You got to go with the younger fighter in this fight. And like you said, it's probably going to be boring, right? Do you think, you think Thompson can stay safe enough? I guess he hasn't shown us any hint that he's going to start getting knocked out, but you
especially because I think it's going to be boring on the feet.
Yeah,
that's the big thing, right? Like I think this is going to be a fight where both of them respect the other one too much, and everybody's like, "Oh, technical kickboxers against each other, how great!" And like that's usually a recipe for boring ass fights.
Well, Stephen Thompson's kind of like, I like his fights. I like him as a person, but he's kind of overhyped for the excitement that his fights bring. He was in a bunch of battles early in his career, but you can't really expect that at this point. He's too smart and safe of a fighter for that. So boring fight, and Buckley's going to win. There you go. We even told you what kind of fight it's going to be. All right, let's recap, and we'll get out of your orifices until tomorrow. We got Buckley, we got Lucindo, we got Almeida. I have Hubbard. He has Hernandez. He surprised me with that one. We both have Pennington. We both have Spann. We both have McGee. So just the one that Gumby cheated and got. I guess that's not cheating. You did extra research on it. That's the only one that we differ on, thanks to small e elevation. All right. Thank you for coming to my birthday party, everyone. You can wish me happy birthday in the Discord. I'm always accepting compliments and birthday wishes at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. I am now known as the Cowboy Gentleman. I have a new picture that was taken today of me. So that's another exciting thing for you in there. Where else can you hit us up? You can hit us up on YouTube, obviously, in the comments. Comments are jumping. People are always asking questions, which is good. And we're always, Gumby or myself are always checking the comments. So make sure you subscribe first, of course. Where else? Twitter, SGPN MMA. Gumby runs that for us. He's Gumby Reeland. I'm Jeff Fox, writer there, and on Instagram. Get in my Substack, enter my pick'em contest for this weekend's UFC 307. You can enter for free at mightyMMA.substack.com. But check out the site. Maybe you like some of the articles, some of the stat-based stuff I have on there. Maybe you want a full subscription. So check that out, mightyMMA.substack.com. Gumby, he's already hinted at it. Top Turtle MMA podcast. He hinted at one of his people that are on it this week, and someone that he faded.
Yeah, Austin Hubbard gave me all that great information, which I'm sure he wanted to be used so that I could talk about how I thought he'd lose.
Yes, that's true.
I hate doing that, but like that's and the other one's Court McGee, who I picked to win. So both of those guys on my show this week.
There you go. And of course, we're at sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. So you can look cool like us, wear some cool gear, and sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. So you get some extra content and help us keep the lights on. We'll be back tomorrow. Thudja Fox, the Great 8, Gumby Vreeland. Talk to you then.